Welcome, everyone. We're all here to help you have a breakthrough year. So, in the chat, drop a yes if you've been thinking about your acting goals this year. And you may be thinking about all the work you'll need to do to put into getting those goals. Maybe you're wanting to reshoot your headshots, take new acting classes, and you've been thinking about like reaching out to new reps. Let me tell you, effort, hard work, and willpower are overrated. That is my strong opinion. So you really need to focus on your environment. Pop quiz in the chat, take a guess. What do you do with a sick goldfish? What do you do with a sick goldfish? And no, not flushing it down the toilet. I know some of you were thinking that. Change the water, correct. A few of you, Nico, Stacy, absolutely. So you change the water. So you need to completely change the water, aka the environment that the fish is in order for that fish to get healthy again and thrive. That's a very simple analogy, but it rings true for us as actors. If you want different results than you've gotten in the past, start by changing your environment. So today we're going to talk about 3 ways to change your environment. We'll start with the law of inevitability. Then you'll learn about the proximity power principle, and we're going to wrap things up with courageous coaching. And you'll learn how all of these different areas have helped our 4 elite actor panelists. They're all part of our elite program, and I'll be sure to share a little bit about that program later today too, in case you're interested. So let's first talk about the law of inevitability. Whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're right. Some of you have heard this before, and I strongly agree with it. So let's do a temperature check right now. So, everyone, right now, think about your biggest acting goal. And as you imagine that goal, do you feel that achieving that goal is impossible, possible, probable, or inevitable? Where do you normally fall on that scale in terms of how you feel about achieving this goal? And if you're feeling extra brave, which I encourage you to do, feel free to drop your answer in the chat. Like, where are you on this this possibility spectrum? Inevitable. Okay, great. A lot of possible. So far, I don't think I saw any impossibles. That's good. And if you're in that impossible, hey, I've felt that way before. There's times in my career that I was thinking about giving up because it just felt impossible sometimes. And we can definitely, one thing we aim to do is help our actors move up the possibility scale. So if you're feeling like, oh, this is impossible, it's really hard to go from impossible to inevitable, right? Like that's a huge jump. So let's take the next step. So how do we go from impossible to possible, probable, etc.? Um, L- Larvell, can you share one of your favorite quotes by Louis Pasteur?
Did you ever observe to whom the accidents happen? Chance favors only the prepared mind.
I love that quote. You introduced me to that quote, actually. Inside the Elite program, there's a
Oh,
lot of support to move you up the inevitability scale by helping you be more prepared. So rather than relying on luck, rather than relying on luck and like taking steps based on what you feel, um, and basing your opinions on like, or your actions based on like what 1 or 2 people think you should be doing, we're really big on like quantitative analysis and proven formulas. And that's one of the keys to inevitability is to rely on like data and proven formulas versus just like our feelings in the moment. Feelings can be very fleeting, and I don't want to take away the power of feelings, but we want to rely on other things if we want to achieve that inevitable success. So, Frida, you used our favorite client formula to really turn around your relationship with your agent. So last year, you signed with a new agent who wasn't getting you out for months, which I think most of us can relate to experiencing. And you started sending some helpful updates and follow ups in line with the favorite client formula. And you included the bookability sheet that you put together with your elite coach. And as a result, she started pitching you for the right roles. And you've been getting some really super on brand, amazing auditions. So I'll share your bookability sheet so people can take a look at what you put together with your coach. And can you share, while I'm screen sharing, can you share like why this has been a game changer and like what do you think is working about it? So I'll share my screen.
So basically, my bookability sheet has helped pinpoint my most playable roles. And I provided like a sample breakdown for each headshot along with like all of the adjectives that normally go along with a breakdown. And it really showcases the types of characters that I feel like I'm most likely to be called in for. And I determine which characters those were based on things that I've booked in the past, things that I typically get called in for, and also just serving some friends in this community. And it's been really helpful to like send to my reps because it's helped them understand my brand. So that way they can pitch me for roles that I'm really right for. And I think in general, like the more you define a really clear brand for yourself, the more memorable you become for specific roles. And since using it, I've gotten way more auditions that better align with my strengths.
Well, very well said. Thank you. Thank you, Frida. And it's so adorable. Your book ability, and just like you, it's very on brand to you. So beautiful.
Yeah.
So how do you get clarity on exactly the roles that you're right for? Like you see Frida has a lot of like she knows what she's really right for. So how do you know exactly what roles those are and how to stand out in your category? Well, Janelle, I'll screen share in just a moment, will give you a tour of her stoplight analysis, which is our like quantitative analysis based on the branding she did within our branding course and also with her elite coach. So as I share this, Janelle, can you kind of share just like um your journey in terms of rebranding that like has made such a big difference in like booking these like amazing projects opposite like Jude Law and working on American Horror Story and like all those wonderful projects. Okay, so this is your stoplight analysis.
Yeah, so I love this process because I created basically a slate and we were given all these adjectives and job descriptions that you could send out to people blindly, and they could just tell you what they thought based on your slate and everything without who it was. But then I also liked that I could include what I had been cast in or had auditioned for over the years. And my favorite circle was the last one, the roles that speak to me, because
Boom.
that really changed everything for me because I was like, okay, in this slate, I'm gonna be like Janelle Kolaski, 5'8", New York City. And everyone was like, seductress, intimidating. And I was like, oh my God. I want to bring my quirky warmth into my roles. And so this stoplight analysis helped me find branding that not only included how everybody views me, but my authenticity. And then that's how I started booking more.
Thank you for sharing that. And later today, actually, we're going to show a couple of Janelle's headshots that have like helped her get some of these big auditions and opportunities. So stay tuned. We'll show that later on today as well. So it sounds like what I'm hearing is instead of like just going at it randomly or just like hoping that like, oh, I don't know, let me just like throw spaghetti at the wall and see what happens. Like this branding process really helped you feel like really confident in your new branding choices because it was so like comprehensive, it seems like, because we focus on all three of those circles. Is that right, Janelle? Oh, yeah, she's muted. So yeah, we'll take a peek at her headshots a little bit later today. And remember, what gets tracked and measured gets managed. So we have a lot of tools within the Elite program to help our clients stay consistent and experience that inevitability. So speaking of consistency, building the right habits that lead to achieving big goals is so important. April, you've gotten some awesome direction for what action steps to be taking and building some really consistent habits as a result of coaching. What was one of your favorite learnings that you got from coaching?
I think one of the favorite things that I learned was this idea of the problem is the solution. So I would often just feel frozen and not know what to do. Would be like, well, there's this, but whatever. And then my coach was like, April, the problem is a solution. So, like, can I share a quick example?
Yeah, please
Okay,
do. I
so
think we'd love that.
I had a scheduling thing come up. I booked this movie that I really, really wanted to do, but they had changed the date slightly. Thank you. They had changed it slightly. And I had already booked all this whole family thing that was really important. It was going to be really hard to move. And I was like, I don't want them to think that I don't want to do this movie, it's like a really big deal.
Mm,
And I don't want to mess up this other thing and whatnot. And my coach was like, the problem is the solution. And I was like, okay, so basically you just tell your agent exactly what you just told me. I was like, that's so simple, but like it's been so helpful. So I told him, I was like, listen, I really, really want to do this movie, but they changed the dates and there's this conflict, and this conflict's so important to me. And he's like, let's hop on a call. He's like, all right, I'm going to call casting. I'm going to talk them through it. And they ended up changing the dates of the movie for me. So it worked out in that time. But in every time it comes up, it's just been like a lifesaver.
I love that. Like, it's just a different way of reframing the experience and like, and in a way, like, how is this a good thing? You know, and like, how do we leverage this in a good way? Like the one that I like the one example I use of like the problem is the solution. Like, if when I talk to an actor, sometimes if like the problem is, okay, well, I don't, maybe like I don't have enough credits yet, and I'm reaching out to these people to get a meeting, right? Using that idea of like the problem is the solution, which is something Coach Darren says quite a bit. Then maybe it's like, well, because how do I leverage the fact that, let's say I am a very new actor and like lean into that so that when someone sees it, they're like, oh my gosh, like this is like someone who's like brand new along their journey and I want to save them the heartache of like going through what I went through, right? So there's ways of leaning into that versus shying away from it and being like, no, like I'm so experienced when you're not, right? There's ways of doing that so that the problem becomes the solution, as you said. That's very well expressed. Thank you for sharing that important principle that's really kind of guided your actions and helped you. I mean, you were able to do both, right? You were able to do the movie and the.
Even if that didn't work out, using this tool has helped me be so much less stressed out about the business
Mm,
side of things a lot of times.
yes, thank you.
Yeah.
And in the chat, if you have a takeaway as someone's saying something, the more we review and like type out, make notes, the more it becomes ingrained in us. So feel free to in the chat share any takeaways as our amazing panelists share these gems. All right, next. So that's the law of inevitability. So the next principle is the proximity power principle. Man, I love my alliteration. So, if you tend to be the most ambitious or accomplished actor in your peer group, it's time to expand your circle. If you want to be a working actor, surround yourselves with actors who work instead of actors who worry. So, this is an exercise I do regularly that has really shifted the people environments that I'm in. If you can, really quickly, everyone, grab a pen and paper, or you could type this out, okay? We're gonna do a little exercise. Um, First of all, you do not need to share these two lists that you're about to make with anyone. You can just like crumble it up and throw it away if you want. So please do yourself a favor and be as honest as you can while doing this exercise. And you're going to get more out of this exercise. So this is the 80-20 exercise from Tim Ferriss. First, do a mind dump and write the names of anyone that comes to mind when I ask this question. Who are the 20% of people in your life that contribute to 80% of your frustration and stress? Again, you don't have to type it in the chat, but just write it down somewhere. I like some of the expressions that came up on people's faces as I asked that question. That means there's people that immediately came to your mind. We all have that. I try to do, oh, me, interesting. Okay. We are our best friends and our worst enemies, right? We can be who saves us and we can be who drags us down. That's very self-reflective and deep. Thank you, Shayna. Okay, new list. Second list. Who are the 20% of people in your life that contribute to 80% of your joy, inspiration, and expansion? I hope you feel better making this list. When my boyfriend at the time was the very first person that came up on the first list, I was like, Now, it does not mean you need to cut out everyone from your life from list one, but you may want to reconsider like the nature of the relationship, or are there adjustments that need to be made in the nature of the relationship so it's not one that tends to cause more frustration and stress. Or maybe it's just about spending less time with some of the people on your list one and more time with the people on list two. So I think having this awareness of like your environment, who you're surrounding yourself with, how does it make you feel when you're around them becomes really important. Yeah, and some people are on both lists. So, like, what are the contexts in which they are more inspiring, and when is it more stressful? And maybe that's a conversation you can have with them. Like, hey, I love being around you when we are like blah 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 blah. I find that I struggle a little bit more when we have a tendency of enacting patterns like blah 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 blah, right? So that's normal for someone to be on both lists as well. So yeah, thank you for sharing that in the chat, y'all. So let's see how our panelists have really leaned into the community of people who contribute to their success and happiness. Larvel, for years, you disliked the word networking, which I think probably a lot of people
Hmm.
here yep,
Yes.
can relate to. So, can you share the big shift you made that's made networking effective for you? And now you have all these wonderful industry relationships you've built, and that's led to you playing like a lead role in a project even without auditioning.
Yes, simply connecting with people on a personal level. Like the one key industry connect that I linked up with, we had a mutual friend, and we had a table read, and he was introduced to me as just the director. I didn't know who he was, and we started talking about our affinity for Marvel Cinematic Universe movies and how I named my son Logan based off of Wolverine. And then we it was like a natural thing. We exchanged phone numbers, and then whenever he reached out to me to ask me to read a script and give him notes on a script he's written, um, I was instantly a go-giver.
Mm.
Whenever he asked, anything he asked, I was like, sure, when, what time, when do you need it by, whatever. He also asked me um, to be a lead in one of his table reads for one of his projects he was writing, and I IMDb'd him, and I realized he was like a second AD on Marvel movies as well as a upcoming Spider-Man noir. So I'm like, wow, this dude's busy, and he asked me to read. He asked me to read for a role of a project that he was thinking about doing, and little did I know he already had me cast as the role. But he wanted to see. Yeah, the reason why he wanted me to read was he wanted to see how he was going to cast other people when it comes to chemistry. So he already had me in mind, and come to find out, come to realize that the project was like had a budget of 50,000. It was a, POC. Um, a concept project. I can't think of the word. But anyway, the and that project I got the footage back for, and then it is on Jonah. It is on brand. I finally see myself as my brand in this movie. So I have great footage for my reel, and it was is well received so far. So I'm excited for everyone to take a look at it. Proof of concept, POC, proof of concept. Yes, and and that led me um to to book for. I mean, led me to book a role in this movie where I starred with, not starred, but where I shared a scene with Corey Hawkins and Mark Ruffalo, and I got a chance to hug Mark Ruffalo. So that was a day. That was a day.
Oh,
So yeah.
oh,
Mhm.
that wow.
Yes.
Thank you for sharing that story. So what I'm hearing is that you like connecting with someone on a human level, like leading with the being a go-giver mindset rather than being a go-getter. And like coming from that mindset of like, how can I support this person? How can I help this person? And like being confident in
Yeah.
like your branding and like what you bring to a role led to like these awesome projects that you've been a part of. And that's really exciting. And this was all without like it sounds like your agents weren't very your reps weren't involved in this part of the process as much from what I can tell.
N-
Not that they're not great,
Not
but
at
like
all. Not at all. Yeah, I love my reps, but not at all. It,
yeah.
it, it was as if that I was talking to my friend. So whenever my friend need me, whenever my homie calls, shout out to Tupac, rest in peace. Whenever my homie calls, it was like, bro, I am there. So yeah. So I am grateful for him and grateful for CA for helping me be bold in networking.
Oh.
And it's no longer a scary word,
Oh,
thankfully. So
good. And by CA, Larvel shortening career activate to CA. I like it.
yeah.
If people are like, California?
Oh,
Um, just for clarification. Thank you, Larvel, for sharing that inspiring story. And walking through that journey with us. And I'm sure that that director is also very grateful to have you in his life, and that's what I love about like the different networking strategies we cover is like it's like all about creating as many wins as possible, like win, 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 as many wins as possible. Now, the proximity power principle not only applies to producers, directors, casting directors, etc., in your immediate network, but also the circle of actors you surround yourself with. And in the chat, I see several of y'all mentioning like being on set, working actors. And so, Frida, you were introduced to a producer by fellow elite client Belinda, and you embodied the go-giver approach, and then you booked as well. So, can you share how that came about?
Yes, so Belinda, who I believe is actually on this call today,
Belinda's here. Yeah.
she's also an elite client, and she introduced me to a producer friend of hers who was looking for a director for all female and non-binary crew. And I had just attended a female filmmaker screening a month earlier where I met this wonderful director whose comedy short was featured. And I talked to this director after her short was screened, and she was just this lovely human being, super supportive and genuine. Like I could tell she was like, yeah, I feel like a lot of people like sometimes you talk to them and they're like, oh yeah, we'll keep in touch, and then you like message them after they don't like respond, but she was like very giving and generous, and I thought that she would be a perfect fit for this project, which was a project that was very personal to the producer. And so I put the two of them in contact with each other and they ended up working together. And then a few weeks later, I saw that they were auditioning for a few roles and I sent in a self-tape and I ended up booking it. So while I still had to audition, it was really the relationships that helped open the door. And they ended up continuing to work together on other projects and have become good friends since. And it makes me really happy to have brought them together.
That's really cool. Thank you. So, by making an introduction between two people who should know each other, you created a triple win, like a win for you, a win for the producer, and a win for the director, right? So, that's what we're talking about in terms of like win, win, win. And that led to a booking for you, which is awesome. And I know that that wasn't the intention. Like you weren't. That wasn't what like motivated you to connect these two people. It was just leading with how can I support who in my network can I connect this person with who's looking for female and non-binary like crew and filmmakers? And you're like, oh, I just met someone. And when I meet people at events, and I encourage our students and clients to do so as well, is like I have a notes document that like as soon as I go to the bathroom, sometimes I'll just excuse myself to go to the bathroom because I'm like my memory is crap and I don't trust myself, and I'll like be in the bathroom on the toilet, TMI, and I'll like do a mind dump of like the person's name, the people I just met, like what are they looking for? What type of support could they use? What is like I just start doing like a mind dump and then I enter that into our entertainment connections tracker and do follow-ups and all that fun jazz that we talk about in the elite program. So I think it's so important to like pay attention to what's going on in other people's lives. And so often as actors, I think we're often taught like, hey, like you got to self promote, you got to put yourself out there. And of course you do. And there's ways of like creating these win-wins. So it's not just about look at me, but like how can I support these awesome people that I just genuinely respect, admire, love their mission, etc. So thank you for embodying that, Frida.
Yeah, it's like a fun bit of puzzle solving almost, like making a connection. Yeah.
Yeah. You're right. I do like that analogy. Thank you. So let's hear from our other panelists. Now, in a sentence or two, or three, what do you feel like for you has been the tangible difference between the elite community and other communities you've been a part of? So we'll go April, then Larvel, then Janelle.
Okay, I think for me, being in a community of so many other working actors who have been doing, who do these like outside of the box things, or as you often say, are aggressive with grace, has been so inspiring for me to take these bigger risks that have started to really pay off for me. So it's just been like so inspiring.
Awesome. Yeah, like just seeing what's working for other people. And yeah, when you see other people be bold and you're like, "Wait, they did that and that worked. Like maybe I can do that too." Yeah. Like why not me? Exactly. Beautiful. Marvel?
Yeah, I feel understood, and I don't feel alone. And between the clients and the coaches, someone has the answer to your question.
Well said. Janelle.
Everyone in the masterminds are always so open, kind, vulnerable, and bold. And so I felt very safe and I learned so much. And I was also like, oh my gosh, I can do that, not get blacklisted. Like it just really opened my eyes to so many people. And it's just been so inspirational. It's definitely made me level up.
Absolutely. And this topic, like this, that's such a fear for like most of us, right? We're like, are we going to get blacklisted for this? And oftentimes I get questions from actors like, well, should I XYZ? Can I contact blah, blah, blah? And most of the time, I would say yes, but it's the how you do it. Right. That makes a difference. So, like, most of the time, it's like, yes, you can do that, or yes, I would encourage that. But then it's like the nuances and the personalizing in terms of coaching on how do you do that with that person so that it's received in the way that you want it to be received and you don't like scare the person off or you don't get quote unquote blacklisted. Although that I think actors in general have too big of a fear of that and it stops them from being as bold as you want it to be. So yeah, thank you for sharing that, Janelle. Now we've talked about the law of inevitability. Wow, maybe I could have come up with a phrase that was easier to say. So we've talked about the law of inevitability and the proximity power principle. Up next, we're going to talk about the importance of courageous coaching to take you way beyond just having accountability. So you're going to hear some very specific coaching advice that some of our elite actors here received that were game changers. For instance, Janelle is going to share some advice that she got that led to her making a connection that helped her raise money for her passion project, something that she really believes in and the message of. And you'll see some super on brand headshots that have helped her get called in and book. Helped her get called in for some of these really big projects, and she ultimately ended up booking. As well as, for instance, April's preparation that really helped with her headshot shoot that made like a huge difference. So you're going to actually see her very detailed prep document. So we're going to again, lots of show and tell today. So our panelists just have like so many wonderful, juicy materials to show. So we are going to cover that in just a moment. But first, I want to take a few short minutes to give those of you who are feeling inspired or curious about the Elite program the opportunity to learn more and get a big discount if you book a call with one of our consultants today. So some of you were invited here by one of our elite clients, and they've been talking up this program for a while, and you're like, all right, like, what is this? And so you're like curious, but maybe like a little skeptical. And so I'm excited to share with you some of the benefits so that over the next few minutes, so that you can decide, do I want to explore this more or not? And wouldn't it be great to have actors like our panelists today in your inner circle? That's one of the many benefits of the Elite program. So let me give you a tour of the benefits. Okay. All right. Nope. So, after years of research and testing, we've created this program that gives you every chance to be a successful working actor. We've talked about crafting a successful environment for you to reach your potential, and the Elite program is the best environment available to you. So, what does this environment entail? So, there's three main parts: courses, coaching, and community, plus some other bonuses. So, let's first talk about the courses and the knowledge. As an Elite client, you get full access to these four courses The first course is Get Rich in Your Niche, which is designed to help you stand out in your category so you become an in-demand actor and you get a lot more auditions. So you're going to learn exactly how to design like 6 different marketing materials that match your brand and bring like big results. And that's where you're going to do the 3 circles that you saw and the stoplight analysis and all that fun jazz. So you're going to be walked step by step through that process. I think most of the panelists would agree that one of the most helpful courses is the relationship roadmap because no career can have longevity without relationships. And how would you like to be offered roles like Larvell was without even auditioning? So you'll learn how to network effectively and creating and deepening relationships with decision makers in the industry, like producers, directors, etc. And yes, you get to do that in a genuine, authentic way and actually attract people into your inner circle and into your life that are feel really aligned with you because not everyone's going to be, and that's okay. Uh, think about maybe the last time you heard about a project that you were dying to be a part of. Now you'll know exactly how to audition for those projects, whether you have a rep or not. So this course gives you a step-by-step process and scripts and templates so that your nerves don't get the best of you and you can be your own agent. And pitch yourself for projects. So this has led to several elite clients booking their first, 10th, 15th, 30th TV credit through self-pitching. So for instance, Christine and Cesar here both booked This Is Us, and they self-pitched themselves. And last but not least, we have our agents course where you're going to learn the complete A to Z system to partner with the right rep for you and create a team of reps that is in your corner and really believes in you. So we've helped hundreds of actors partner with the perfect fit rep for them using the system. Now, important information is not enough by itself. You need coaching in the right community if you want to create a breakthrough year for yourself. So, our experts and coaches are my go tos when I need career or mindset advice. When you join the Elite program, you'll be matched with the best fit coach for you. So, you'll hear some of the best advice our panelists have gotten from their coaching in a few minutes. So, finally, let's talk about community. I'm sure everyone has a community of peers, but what makes the elite community unique outside of what was already shared by our panelists is like on top of the moral support and feedback, you get opportunities sometimes. So here's what I mean. Elite clients, for instance, might post castings inside our private group, like Mia here, who wanted to help. So talk about win, 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 win. Mia here wanted to help out her Emmy award-winning producer friend and her elite actor peers all in one fell swoop. So both of these elite actors ended up booking that project, and this happens all the time. Here's another example. I love the story. Austin and Sean shot a scene together. So they met during the elite program. They decided to shoot a scene together for their reels. And Austin used that scene to pitch herself for a lead of a TV series. And the casting director invited Austin to audition for the series' regular role. And she also wanted to call Sean in because Sean was in that clip that Austin had submitted when she was pitching herself. And Sean was just filming that scene with his friend, his new friend Austin. He had no idea it would lead to him getting a series regular audition. So that was a really, really nice win-win. And our elite community is filled with multi-hyphenates, and they love casting one another and collaborating on projects they're making. For instance, Jackie was casting a network series and was really invested in helping fellow elite actors book their first TV credit. And so 2 of our elite actors booked their first ever TV roles. I can keep going, but I think you understand the point. Now, I hope you're as excited as I am because I love seeing people's journeys across this year-long program. Now, before we shift gears and have the panelists share some of the best coaching advice they've received, I have some good news and bad news for you. Bad news, you cannot join the Elite program today. The Elite program isn't for everyone, and we want to make sure it's exactly the thing you need to accomplish your big acting goals this year. Plus, the community inside the Elite program is really special, and we really go out of our way to curate this group with a lot of intention. And we've had to say no to some actors that were like, I want to pay in full, I want to just join now. And unfortunately, it just, for one reason or another, just wasn't the right fit. So you cannot just join the Elite program. That's the bad news. You do have to meet with one of our consultants before joining. Here's the good news. Because you don't need to decide now if you want to join the Elite program. That's what a kickoff is for. And that's what I want to invite you to book right now. So if you're like 51% confident that you might want to join the elite program, please book a call now at elitekickoff.com. For transparency, we have 4 tiers in the elite program, and it starts at $277 a month. And it is like all business of acting, lots of mindset, everything that I talked about in one program. And so it starts at $277 a month. And if you go to elitekickoff.com, on that page, there's also a link that shows you like the tiers and the pricing and all of that fun jazz. So you can just go to elitekickoff.com. The program details you can access directly at eliteprogrampricing.com as well. Also, what's good is right now is the perfect time to be joining the elite program in the next couple of weeks, because you get access to these 3 special events as an elite client. 1, we are launching the first ever AI course for actors this February. So next month, I'm going to show you how to leverage AI to create stronger auditions in half the time by helping you break down your sides, analyze tone, pick your best takes, and much more. I now use it for every audition, and it's helped me get so many more callbacks. Disclaimer: AI cannot replace you, your coach, or your community. So this is not about replacing you at all. It's really about leveraging AI, because it's not going to go away. And me pretending it doesn't exist does you no good at all. So it's really about how have AI help support you so that you can really focus on the craft and the joy of acting, rather than like the stress and the like hours of research and going down the Netflix rabbit hole of like watching the whole season of a show before auditioning, for instance. The second special event is we have our February Mastermind VIP retreat. On average, elite clients we send out surveys after every mastermind, and they've estimated saving on average 2 years and $3,500 just by participating in one mastermind. And being in a mastermind is indescribable, but trust me, you'll walk away from this weekend event feeling like reconnected to your purpose, crystal clear about your next steps, and fully supported by a strong community of smart actors who have your back, like our panelists today, who have all been to masterminds and been supporting one another for quite some time now. And this spring, you'll get access to our Relationship Roadmap live course. So that's the one, that's the very comprehensive system to help you build genuine relationships that lead to more auditions and direct bookings. So we have that as our live course this spring. Now, here's the application process. First, you'll get a discount since you're on with us today, where normally our kickoffs are $100. Now for today, it's only $50, and it's a $50 non-refundable deposit. It's transferable to anything we offer, so you know you'll get your money's worth. Then you're going to schedule your kickoff session, and during your kickoff, you and our expert consultant will set goals, figure out which program tier is right for you and which coach. And there's flexibility in when you start the program, and you can brainstorm ideas on how to make the money and or time commitment work for you. And if you don't join the elite program, that's okay. If you or the consultant don't feel like it's a fit for you, you can apply your $50 deposit towards any offering at Career Activate, a course, a branding session, anything. So I hope you take advantage of this big discount and this incredible opportunity today. And I'm really looking forward to welcoming some of you into the elite program over the next couple of weeks. Now, after we officially conclude our roundtable, I will be taking some questions about the elite program, anything that we covered today, so that you can feel really, really good about your decision. So now, as promised, we're going to dive into the third piece of today, which is courageous coaching. It's not enough to have accountability. You need someone in your corner who is skilled and brave enough to challenge your thinking, because you don't need to move forward in 2025. You need to level up in a big way. So let me explain the difference between classes and coaching. Classes gives you the how-to. Coaching gives you the implementation of your knowledge, and really it guides the implementation of your knowledge and really personalizes your game plan. So having an elite coach is like having a GPS that personally navigates you from where you're at now to that specific goal. So our panelists will take you right now behind the scenes of some of the advice they got, even when it was hard to hear, that made a big difference for them. So Janelle, I'm going to pull up a couple of the headshots that ended up being really on brand for you. So if you and I'm curious, how did coaching, whether it was a branding expert or coach, how did that help you like refine your branding? So as I pull these headshots up, and you can talk a little bit about each headshot if you want.
Yes, the branding expert actually changed my life. Um, because it was so amazing. So the stoplight analysis helped me like, okay, I can bring my authenticity into this. And then my branding coach was like, Janelle, look, you just got to play the rapper that you look like. You know, you may look like a peppermint patty, but you're cookies and cream on the inside. It's okay. And that sounds so funny, but I didn't want to play the waspy girl from the Upper East Side. Um, just because the picture that you see here, and this is actually my favorite picture I took. I feel more connected to this character because I'm from Ohio and Western Pennsylvania. I grew up with farmland all around me, and I grew up as a human rights activist. My brother has autism, fighting for his rights and all these things. And I kept getting called in for like the pretty girl. And then they would bring me in, and I'm like, hey guys, like I was like this weird, like strong but still pretty person. And I wasn't booking any work. And also I don't like that I come across as intimidating, but my branding coach is like, Janelle, you have to get over that. Because maybe you look intimidating, but when you start talking, people are like, oh, I don't know. She's okay. And, and so it sounds so silly because we can play anything, but then it just gave me a lot more confidence and freedom to be seen and be okay with
Mm.
whatever people wanted to cast me as. And so this is like the Upper East Side housewife look, you know. And the branding coach was like, stop taking a nice picture in your favorite color. That's not telling a story. And
Mm.
just advised me to just really make each character their own. And it helped me book American Horror Story, and it helped me book a role opposite Jude Law because I was able to take these pictures to my agent and be like, here she is. Here's your peppermint patty. You know, the waspy girl with a, warm smile. And so that's what I keep playing. And I found that like my TV type is how someone judges me quickly. And then my film type, maybe there's like, I have a little more room to play. So the first photo in the tank top actually booked me a film that I had dreamed of for years that I never got a chance to play. And it was this Ukrainian mom. She's a trailer park mom that was trying to raise a child on her own, and just this whole wild story. And I got flown to Austin in the middle of the strike, and I got to work with like the best of the best. And it was all because of this branding session. So I'm telling you, changed my life and my career.
Wow. Well, way to
Yeah.
be open to, like, it sounds like there was a lot of resistance. Um,
Yeah.
a lot, it sounds like. And but way to be willing to like take in the feedback and like accept parts of you that you like maybe resisted and also lean into like what makes you unique and special and different as Janelle. You know, sometimes the things that we most want to hide about ourselves, that's the crap. I don't want to say crap. That's the gold that helps us get booked, you know? And so it's really helpful to know like what pieces to really lean into. And so like kudos to you for like it being a very comprehensive because I think sometimes with branding, what I've noticed a lot of actors, they're like, let me just put some like clever words together and like that's my tagline. But there's not really like a quantitative like numbers-based analysis. There's not support. There's not what are my goals? How do I get there? So thus, what are my next steps to get there? And how do I craft the brand that's going to really help me get to that next level? So yeah, thank you for walking us through your photos, your headshots. Thank you, Janelle.
Yeah. Yeah. And branding gets you in the room. And then I felt more free to be myself, and I was still allowed to bring humor in. And I think that's why I booked more. So I just have to share that. It's really nice. Thanks, Jonah. Can you activate?
Thank you, Janelle, for following through. And you'll start off, everyone here who joins the Elite program, you're going to start off your Elite program most likely with a private branding session. We typically recommend you do that first to really help you uncover your money-making brand and which projects you should be targeting specifically. That's like the low-hanging fruit for you. So like what are the projects that like are easiest for you to get on right now, given the branding that you discuss in that branding session, that private. April, you worked with your coach on your headshot branding blueprint, which you shared with your agents and the photographer, and you felt like it made a huge difference. So let me share that. And could you share why prepping in this way was so useful?
Well, first off, I think I always get so confused with headshots. I'm like, what do I need? And I need everything. And I just want to give a shout out to you, always saying a confused mind says no, because that's been
Oh,
a huge thing for me.
oh,
It's just like,
interesting.
must be clear. So, and also my coach helped me because I was like, I was gonna re-get my nurse like mom look. And my coach was like, you have that.
Oh, I see it crossed
To re-get
out. You're
that,
like,
you
nope.
have that. Like, don't spend money on that again. It still looks like you. I was like, oh, okay, great. And then so many people from my stoplight analysis are like, you should play someone with an advanced degree, like a lawyer or a you know, yeah, that's my woo-woo girl that you're looking at.
That's your woo girl. I love it.
Um, but I didn't have a headshot that really worked for that. Oh my God, I'm wearing the same outfit. I didn't even realize.
Why is that a bad thing? It's very on brand for you for this particular
I think it
character,
is.
yeah.
Like, after I bought this jacket for my headshots, and now I wear it all the time.
Oh,
Yeah,
it looks
so
great on
I
you. So you
pulled
should.
all of these characters from actual, different shows and whatnot. They were playing similar types. And then I tried to find outfits that kind of matched and looked at what wardrobe had put me in previously. This is my mom look as you're looking at it. And the photographer was like, oh my God, thank you so much. And my agents were like, oh my gosh, this is great. Yeah, we're excited for you. And I think that even sharing that with like the little synopsis at the top was really helpful for my agents. And since I've gotten my headshots updated, you can see it's right under, so Celebrity Kent, Essence. So that stuff is from the stoplight analysis at the top. And then the worlds you fit into also from the, sorry, yeah. So the
Yeah,
adjective,
sorry.
I'm sorry. Okay, so the TV worlds also came from the questionnaire that we sent out, which was really helpful. And then the little summation there, it was kind of like my sneaky way of telling my agents, like, hey, this is what you should be submitting me for. And
And how to pitch you, maybe, you
and how to
know?
fix me. And I kid
Mhm.
you not. I mean, the truth is the results of this with my new headshots, and even just I think sharing some of this stuff with my agents and having it get in their head is that I've been getting so many more auditions that are right for me. And so my callback and booking ratio has actually gone way up. Like my getting in the veil or sent to producers, like that's all gone way up. And even my number of auditions has gone up. And I think so much of that is because I'm not getting these auditions that don't really fit me right anymore.
Mm. Yes, no, I love that because you've been booking like leads in movies and like so many commercials. What's the project that you were most excited about booking recently or like last year?
Let's see. So I booked this movie, a lead in a movie called Elijah Peel. I'm actually going to go film pickups for it next week.
Oh, yay.
And it's such a good role, so fun. Just yeah, it was wonderful to film.
And
And
some people know some of the actors that are in Elijah Peel. I definitely
oh,
recognize some names.
um,
No?
I mean,
Is
um,
wait, is that not the Kevin Sorbo project? Am I?
it is, yes.
Okay, I was like Hercules. Like
Yeah,
what? Like
yeah,
Hercules is in it. Sorry, I grew up. Hercules and Xena were some of my favorite TV shows, so I was definitely
I
fangirling. I was like, oh
love
my gosh, April
Vanessa.
starring in this with Hercules.
Um,
um, that's
uh,
very exciting.
yeah,
Congratulations.
it was really fun. And I've got another movie coming up. And honestly, like just even the things that I've gotten put on a veil for or the auditions I've been getting lately, a lot of them are NDAs, but like I'm so excited because it's just the quality and the things that I'm reading for are just so much more right for me. And yeah,
Awesome. Yeah, thank you for sharing that. I noticed you. So this is the tagline that during the Get Rich in Your Niche, during one of our Q
you
and
came
A's,
up
like
with, yeah.
I was like, what about graceful grit? And so I'm so thrilled to see that. I'm glad that you like that one. I was like, I don't know. We were brainstorming. So during our when we do live launches of our courses, we do like Q and A's, and it's fun to really like dive
Post
in and
like you don't know.
personalize.
which is
Thank you, April. And thank you for sharing that. And I'm excited that you have all these projects coming out um and like I think for a long time, I know for myself, I was like, I felt very comfortable booking small roles in big projects, but like booking a lead role was like really like intimidating for me. Was there something that like I'm just curious, is there like a mindset tip that like or did you never have that like mindset challenge of like, I don't know if I can play like a lead because now you are. You're doing it.
well, okay. If I'm going to be completely honest, one of the first things I ever booked was a lead in an indie.
Oh, wow. That okay. That's amazing. So you just off the bat.
I mean, they shouldn't have cast me. I didn't know what I was doing.
Um, Maybe we give them credit for knowing what they're doing and knowing who they wanted to cast. That's my opinion. And sometimes it's that like it's
But I have upped my confidence quite a bit in terms of I used to feel really nervous. Like I would self-sabotage a little bit for
mm,
like some of these bigger auditions. Like I've gotten sent to producers for some recurring guest stars and things like that recently that I
mhm,
used to maybe like I would have a co-star role was like similar difficulty in scenes and whatnot, or guest star style hard scene, but it would
mm.
just be a co-star role and I would nail that. But then I would get the bigger role audition and I'd kind of maybe self-sabotage a little bit. And I don't find myself doing that as much anymore.
Okay. Okay, that's awesome. That's fantastic.
Because I feel like I'm supposed to be there. Like they would it would be good for them, like they would be happy to
Yeah.
have me in this role. Like, you
Heck
know, like
yeah. Yes, absolutely. I love that mindset. One of our mini courses that our elite actors get, our elite clients get access to is also the audition leapfrog technique, how to audition for bigger roles, even if your credits are smaller. So that's like a strategic way of like auditioning for the larger roles, even if your credits are smaller. So if you're sitting there and you're like, well, I haven't even booked any of the smaller roles, that's okay. There's ways of not only booking like the co-stars or the smaller roles in TV and film, but we've had actors definitely just like jump to like series regular after having not ever booked a TV show or lead in a feature. So thank you for being an example of like what's possible, April. Thank you. Uh, Janelle, um, could you share the advice that you got that led to you making a connection on set that then started to help you raise money for your own project?
Yes, I was in the relationship roadmap course and I was actually on the set for American Horror Story and talking to people. And I felt like the script supervisor and I really connected and I really admired her work. So my coach was like, you should message her. And I was like, what? Me? So, yeah, he helped me send a message basically saying like the problem is the solution is the same thing. Like you just say that you admire her and why. And I was like, okay. And and so I met her in Brooklyn for coffee and it was really cool because when I shared this project, I'm making a film about my brother and my family, it's so crazy. Her sister actually is going through the same thing with her the son has autism and similar struggles. And so, I had no
Wow.
idea. We didn't talk about that on set. And so she was just like, you have to make this. This is such an important film and I'll help you raise money for it. And I was like, but like, look, I like just reached out and look how beautiful that is.
Yeah, and you're meeting people that are like-minded and share similar values. Like with our in our relationship roadmap class, we also talk about the like powerful tell me about yourself, where like you reveal the heart of who you are and why you're an artist in a very short, succinct way, and it allows you to connect with people um, because then they see you as not what you don't want to be labeled as often in this industry is like, oh, she's just an actor, right? Like in that kind of tone, but more like, oh wow, like I'm in the presence of this like artist who has something to say, who like wants to make an impact, and people are really inspired by that. And and they could do all sorts of things. They could end up like helping you raise money for your project. They could help like introduce you to people, and like it's finding that common ground and finding and knowing how to like craft that message that really feels authentic to you and inspires that person to like want to meet with you as you did. So way to be bold and reach out and like form this connection or deepen this connection to someone that you like briefly met on the American Horror Story set. um, that's very cool. Thank you, Janelle, for sharing that, and I'm excited about your project.
Yes, thank
um,
you.
yeah. I'm curious, could you just briefly share? I know you've shared with me, like, so we talk about mindset a bit too. And one of the things for you was like this fear of being seen. Can you tell us a little bit about like what helped you overcome that or like a mindset shift?
Yes, so actually it ties right in with having the brother with autism. So I'm always been very hypersensitive in every single room I'm in, protecting him and, trying to keep him safe, but then also like taking in how everybody else was receiving him or the situation.
Mm,
And so if I would walk in the room and maybe I would accomplish something or shine or have more confidence in someone else, I could feel everybody, if someone didn't feel confident, maybe shrink a little bit. And I was like, oh, I'll make
mm.
myself smaller. I'm sorry.
Oh,
I'm sorry. Like, I don't want to hurt your feelings. But then working with my branding coach and just working through therapy, I learned that it's not really helpful to dim your light
mm.
just because other people feel intimidated. Everyone deserves to shine. Everyone has a light that can be bold and bright. And so it's more powerful to be like, I'm going to stand in my own and inspire people than instead of like just shrink away because you're not doing nothing. You're just being yourself. And
Yes.
so that made my auditions more powerful because subconsciously I was self-sabotaging my auditions because I wasn't fully bringing myself to it. And they can tell.
Mm.
They can tell if you've done the audition too many times or if you're so worried about booking it or doing it the right way. So when I was like, this is me. Then-
Aw, and allowing
Yeah.
yourself to be seen.
Yeah. And then if I didn't book the audition because I was okay with that, sometimes they would bring me in for other shows for completely different roles. And so that's why it's like you don't have to get it right. You just have to be yourself and they'll find what's right for you.
Yes, lean into your brand because the worst thing in this town oftentimes is to be forgotten, right? So it's not, and the worst thing isn't like, oh, I didn't book that role. It's like, well, you're your branding wasn't clear or like you didn't pop with that audition because you're too worried about like doing like what they want, right? And it sounds like you've really moved away from that, really embraced the branding that you found, and that's led to like if not this role then it's another role they bring you back for and then you book that one and like that's the goal anyway, right? So congratulations, Chanel, very cool. um Larvell, inside the Elite program, you've been with us for quite some time. We're really grateful. You've had access to like wonderful variety of coaches and experts because there's a lot of different coaches and experts within our program. What would you say has been like a benefit of getting expert insight from like a variety of coaches and experts?
Okay, so they make you feel that wherever goal you're setting out for is achievable, and most
Mm.
importantly, they will help you every step of the way. So if you and also also more importantly, they don't shame you, because oftentimes we will have an email that we want to send to an industry contact that we haven't sent it, and it's been months, and they understand, and they will figuratively hold your hand in order for you to have the confidence and the courage to send that email, and also to help you realize that this industry is not scary at all.
Oh, wow, that's bold. Wow, fearless,
Mhm.
Larvel. I haven't heard. Oh, that's really
Yeah.
cool that you have that type of boldness, and I think by surrounding yourself with people that have that type of mindset, and you see all the like success they're having, it encourages you to take those bold steps yourself, and like it
Yeah.
gives you
Mhm.
more confidence to send that cold email or to reach out to that rep maybe or to follow up with that rep if like your coach has helped you kind of like craft the message or like hey like. I like this, Larvel. Let's actually have a different call to action at the end, and let's insert this or like, oh, what if we pull that photo that you did with like on set because of this reason, right? That can be super
Yeah.
useful, so then you feel a lot more confident. You're like, okay, this is actually a really friggin' awesome message. And I'm like
Exactly.
excited to
Yep.
press send, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Plus my coach is there waiting for me to do it right now. So I guess we're gonna do it. Let's just do it.
Yeah.
Because so much of it,
Or even pick up the phone. Or even pick up the
yes,
phone and
phone
call.
calls.
Yeah.
Yes, like
Mm-hmm.
phone
Yeah.
pitching and phone calls, which can be really scary for folks. Um, look, I mean, I consider myself a fairly bold person. And like I still absolutely get nervous and like worried and overthink but it's like it's not a you're always gonna feel nervous. But like by knowing like the formulas and the strategies and how to do it and how to make sure that the message is pretty clear and that you're not going to be seen in a way that you don't want to be seen, then it's a lot easier to just do it, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Thank you for that, Larvel. Now, I have one final question that all of our panelists will answer. And then we're going to jump into the Q&A. So again, if you have any questions about the Elite program, questions, concerns, anything, please do drop it in the Q&A box. I think the Q&A, there's nothing in the Q&A box. It is working, right? I think. Can someone test? It's one of I'm like, people are just not having questions, maybe. So feel free to drop your questions in there. We also we can bring people on camera. You can ask your question after this final question. So each of our panelists will answer. Think back to the time before you joined the Elite program, and maybe some of you might have felt a little nervous about taking the leap. Knowing what you know now, what encouragement or advice would you give someone, like maybe someone sitting here in Zoom today, who might be feeling that like, oh, I don't know, the uncertainty, the fear, the like the what ifs, the worries. Yeah. What piece of advice? Frida. We'll go Frida, Larvel, Janelle, then April.
So I would tell anyone who is on the fence, no matter where you are on your journey, to just go for it. I remember before I signed up, I was afraid that I wouldn't really commit to the program, but I think there's so many things put in place, like with the coaching and like private coaching and also like group coaching and also the community. They will really help keep you accountable. And you will build so many new habits, gain so much confidence, and learn skills that'll last for the entirety of your career, not just the time that you're in the program. And the amount of knowledge I've gained and the progress I've made in my career in just my first year alone would have taken me years of trial and error to figure out. I feel like I was really just kind of like guessing for the most part when I first started out, and now I just feel like so much more confident. Plus, the community is really phenomenal. I've made like a lot of great friends here, and we've been able to support each other through both like the highs and the lows of this crazy journey of being an actor. It's all about who you surround yourself with, and I think the Elite program is made up of some of the most supportive and inspiring people I know. So, yeah,
And
go
you
for it.
amongst them, Frida. Thank you, Frida. Very, yeah, beautifully said and shared. Thank you, Larvel.
Yeah. Without the love and the support from the Career Activate community, I wouldn't have. Yeah, I will be stuck. I would still be stuck with like a one co-star role and be extremely frustrated in
Mm.
my career. Yeah, the community is so strong and so supportive. Any questions you may have, there's someone who can answer you. Someone who has the answer, and it is in community career activate the community of career activate. Yes.
Thank you, Larvel. Janelle.
Right before I joined Career Activate, I was super frustrated, and I had already done some other groups and courses, and I booked a couple things, but I really hit a wall. Pandemic, my agents dropped me. My closest friends were still booking a lot, and I was getting a couple auditions and strangling them to death with fear. So I just say if you really feel like you're meant to be an actor, don't give up. You've just been here with us. It's definitely changed my life. There's probably just something you don't know. I learned so much even after trying for 8 to 10 years. There were things I learned, new things that I didn't know. And the mastermind and the community is the most powerful thing because you need that support. This is, long game situation. So, that's why I would strongly suggest to join. If you really feel like, I've tried everything, promise you haven't. And if you have this dream, you can make it happen. And yeah, it's super powerful and amazing. I'm so grateful.
Thank you. And you're living proof that it's possible. Because it sounds like you were in a place that a lot of actors are in or have been in, where you're like, oh geez, I barely get auditions, and when I do, loved the way you described, you strangle them to death. You're like, I have to book one of these, and like that is, whew, that's a tough. People are usually stuck there for like years, decades. So way to break out of that cycle, Janelle, and like just give yourself like one more shot. So yeah, kudos to you. And April.
So I think before I joined the program, I was I was really stressed out. I was like, should I go to grad school so I can teach acting? I feel like I really know this craft really well, but like I don't know why I'm not having any more success
Hmm.
than I do, And and I'm a learn it all. You know this, because like you, I've read all these business books and all these things, and I'm like, yeah, maybe I could have figured out some of this stuff for myself eventually, or maybe not, because maybe I would have like given up and gone to grad school. But like I did this and I was like, I don't even know. Like I seriously was like, I don't even know. I mean, but I'm like, you know what? Screw it. Like, I'm just going to go for it. I'm going to put everything into it and I'm going to see what happens. And after, this first year, if like I'm still in the same place of like I'm not working, then I'll reevaluate my life. And that is absolutely not what happened. And also I was extremely surprised about how much I learned in every little course and your whole thing about like small hinges swing big doors and all these small little things that I learned to do that I feel like have made this big difference. And yeah, I mean, I agree with you. I don't think it's for everyone, but um, I'm really glad I did it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you. Very honest, very genuine. Thank you so much, April. Can we give it up for our fantastic friggin' panelists? Holy crap. You all are so inspiring and just like sharing like your vulnerabilities. And that takes a lot of bravery and courage. And it can be really useful sometimes, like for all of us, to actually look back on the past because we can see how far we've come, like mentally, emotionally, our knowledge, like how much has really expanded. So let's give it up for our panelists, and you all are free to go. Thank you so, so much. You all are so inspiring. It's so helpful. Thank you for sharing yourselves, your stories, and your materials with us. So thank you all. And as promised, we do have some questions, so we'll get into those questions. And so I'll stay on for a little bit longer. You will then do your kickoff with a consultant. So you just go to elitekickoff.com if you are wanting to investigate whether this could be a really, really good fit for you. And maybe you'll end up on this panel next year. Like April's been in, I guess 9 months, so a little less than a year. And I think she started booking like some pretty amazing projects. I think it was like 3 months in or something like that. So things can happen really quickly with like the right support and coaching and mentorship and community. Uh, Tori has a great question. How do you pair folks up with the right coach? That's a great question. So on our website, uh, I think sometimes there can be like analysis paralysis and a lot of information. So if you really want to look at like the coach bios, you can go to careeractivate.com, click about, and you'll be able to see the bios for our different coaches. And what we really do is our expert consultants are really good at helping match. Like basically, what are your needs? Like, what are the areas of expertise? Maybe you're a multi hyphenate, and so you really care about the producing, the directing, and the acting sides. Or maybe you're a writer actor. Then pairing you with one of our coaches that has a lot of experience producing would be a great idea. For instance, Coach Farah has been pitching like her own show to like Netflix and some really big some big companies. And she's been a recurring guest star on some major shows. She has experience in the UK market, Canada, New York, LA. So we look at the market you're in, we look at the focuses you care about, the expertises you're in need of. Maybe you want to do a bit of voiceover. So then pairing you with a coach that has a lot of experience in voiceover would be something that our consultant would help you like figure out and navigate. And also style of coaching. Are you someone that's like really needs tough love where you're like, hey, give me like, I don't want any BS. I want like tough love and I need someone that's gonna like um be willing to do that. So, or are you someone that's like, hey, like I could really use like a cheerleader, someone who's just a gentle guide. So, yeah, it's a mixture of personality, expertise, markets. Yeah. Okay, hi. Good to see you again, Jamie. There you are. Hi.
Hi, yeah, I'm excited for the kickoff. Yeah, Jonah, you're great. I mean, I did the relationship roadmap with you last year, I guess it was. But I think the thing that I'm most excited about if I, decide to join the elite program is the branding, because I still need help with that, and just the accountability and support. I think is really helpful for me because I'm really good about doing things. It's great to have that kind of emotional support and the accountability of like, okay, what did you do this week? And I know April shared her
Or
her
headshot branding blueprint.
headshot, and I did something very similar for my recent headshot session,
Oh,
but
good.
I should send that to my reps. I didn't even think about that. So
Now you
yeah.
can.
Yeah. So anyway, I'm very excited.
I'm excited for you, Jamie. And you're someone who, like, congratulations on Matlock. Saw that you booked
Yeah,
Matlock.
yeah. Thank you.
So you've been on like different shows over time, and so you've been a working actor already. And so being around other working actors who are inspiring, who get it, who are like ambitious like you, it really elevates the game that you're playing at, and I like the word play because it can be really fun. The business of acting, I used to hate it. I used to be like this. I wish I didn't have to deal with any of this crap. And you'll feel that way until you find ways to be creative in it, like with the branding and the marketing and the networking, creative, and you can make it fun and you can make it enjoyable. So I'm excited for you to like add more tools to your tool belt because I know you have a good number of tools, and now it's about filling in the blanks. And as April said, like small hinges swing big doors. That's something I tend to say. So I'm excited for
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you, Jamie.
Because you said like if you didn't do a lead, it would apply to something else.
Yes, like a course, like a
Yeah,
branding
yeah.
session, that kind of thing.
So it
Yes.
would be, I guess I wanted to make sure it was something that I didn't already get.
Oh, yeah,
Like
yeah.
like if I chose something else besides the elite, and it wouldn't be something that's under the umbrella of the what the heck was it called? Get rich in your niche course.
Yes. Oh, great question. Yes. We have 4 other courses, including our new AI course that's coming out next month. And we also have we do like a one-time private coaching session as well as a branding session. So there are multiple options of what your
Okay.
$50 could go towards. So yeah, don't worry. It's not something that you would have already invested in. And I want to congratulate Brianna and Karen. Awesome. Karen's been on our mailing list for a couple years. And I'm excited to like bring you into like the closer community, which is
Actually,
exciting.
I've been on the career activate thing. I just am so lazy. I haven't clicked on any of the courses and done the relationship roadmap, et cetera. But I'm going to. Someone said you're sitting on a gold mine. I'm like, okay, tonight.
Well, Karen, can I say how relatable that is? I'm a recovering perfectionist. I don't know if you can relate. I'm a recovering perfectionist. I'm very hard on myself. I'm like, I should have done this last year. I should have taken that step this many months ago. And like, it can be so exhausting. And that is so normal. And it's so easy to be like impatient with ourselves. And sometimes it's really about the environment and the structure. I know for me, like with courses, it's like, oh yeah, I've been meaning to look at that. And then life happens, and it's different when you have a like a container, an environment that's built for accountability. Like how many of us, be honest, how many of us think that we'd be in a different place in our career if we followed through with all the things that we said we would? Me, for sure. And so like I think we all can use accountability on some level. And also, Karen, like for you, I would love one of our coaches to work with you on like create like yes, you'll be accountable to your coach, which will help. But there's accountability structures that you can create so that you are really making sure that no matter how crazy life gets, you're feeling the momentum, you're seeing the results, and then that's like a loop, right? You're kind of creating this upward spiral instead of this downward spiral of like, I still need to do that. I still haven't done that. You know what? I'm gonna watch Netflix. I'm gonna do research and watch Netflix all night tonight, right? Like this is so human, Karen, and I appreciate you being so honest and, like vulnerable because I think many of us can relate to that. So it's not your fault. And I think so often for me, for the longest time, I mentioned before this call or before we officially got started, I was struggling with um, eating addiction, bulimia specifically, as well as gambling addiction. And having juggling a couple addictions all at one time. And I think for me, I kept asking myself some really bad questions like, why am I so broken? Like, why am I so broken and how do I fix myself? And what I realized was like, actually, my belief is that none of us are broken, that we actually have everything inside of us that we need to succeed. It's just we're just cut off from some of those resources sometimes. So we could use support, and it takes like bravery and courage to ask for support. We can use support to like be able to access those resources in ourselves, to like find knowledge out there, find support, find community, find coaching. Because I think for me, the hardest time during those years was feeling like I had done everything and I was still broken. And I think that was the hardest part of it was like, oh, I'm just fucked up. Like, I'm just like, there's nothing else. And that is so not true. It's a lie that we can tell ourselves. And I actually love that challenge when someone's like, I've tried everything. And I'm like, oh no, you haven't. And it's actually exciting when in your kickoff, you'll actually with your consultant, you're going to see what's working in your career and what is it that you're missing. So you're going to get a lot of like aha moments even in the kickoff. And what's exciting is like, oh wow, you haven't even self-pitched yourself for this or that. You haven't even tried this, you haven't even tried that. That's exciting because that's opportunity. That's stuff you haven't tried yet. Right? And that feels so much better than feeling like, oh, I've done everything and nothing works. And so I guess I'm just doomed to like never achieve my acting goals. Um, so yeah, it's I think I've definitely battled with the like, I'm not good enough, I'm not interesting enough, I'm not talented enough. And like, we really get to work on our mindset. And I think confidence comes from knowing what the fuck you're doing. So I don't believe in just being like, be confident. Like confidence, if you know the steps like you had to create your brand and how to network with this person and how to do this, like you will feel more confident. It's not just about like faking it till you make it. It's like actually having tools and systems and processes. So I'm really excited, Karen, for you to like step into this new phase where like you're going to be actually taking the action steps to move forward because unfortunately I think a lot of people sign up for a class and they don't finish it, like most people. That's so normal. And I think what's really missing is the accountability, the coaching, the community, the bigger environment. And I think willpower is shit. So I strongly, when I tried to willpower it with gambling and food, whew, did not work very well at all.
Hey, Donna.
Yes,
I have to.
let's talk.
This is Judy Malka. I am from New York
Oh, hi.
City.
Hi, Judy.
Hi, love. Hi, beautiful. I just really wanted to acknowledge. I wanted to acknowledge your beautiful being
Oh,
first. Yeah, let me show my face. And to thank you so very much
oh,
for sharing these beautiful, talented individuals that came along to share their gifts. It means the world to me. I'm a full-time working performer at the Metropolitan Opera here in New York City. And
wow.
it just means, yeah. It really, I take, and the reason of why I really, and forgive me for like just jumping in, but I've followed you for years, Jonna, and I
Oh gosh, thank
admire
you.
um, I admire, you're persistent and your very uniqueness. You're very unique, and I admire that about
Thank
you.
you.
I wish I could commit. I have listened to everything on the Zoom. It's my third Zoom for the day, but I
Oh my
committed
gosh.
to this because it was really, it was really, it was very, very inviting, and I wanted it to kind of really get perspective from other people in the game. This year
Yeah.
was a magnificent year for me. I booked two principal roles that came from just or whatever, and I can get into that. But I wanted it to say that I would have committed to this in a heartbeat. Unfortunately, and again, I'm not asking for any sympathy. I lost my beautiful sister recently to the worst battle with cancer, and it just kind of really dived me in, like to these really bad finances with family and whatnot.
Yeah. I receive all of that. Thank you so much for
You're very welcome.
expressing that. And I'm so sorry to hear
Indeed.
about,
Thank you.
yeah, and
Yes.
it's and sometimes it is about timing and it's not going to be the right time for folks and that's okay.
Yeah.
And and that's okay. And sometimes like with our consultants, like if it's just a matter of timing, if you're like, oh, I want to do this, it's just not the right timing. That is
Mhm.
something that can be worked out where like we have people join at a later time. But they can still get the
Right.
discounts and the bonuses and all that fun jazz. So that is an option.
Party.
You don't have to take it, but that is an
Mhm.
option.
That's wonderful.
And
Mhm.
yeah, and
Thank you.
yeah, I really appreciate your kind words and thanks for being
Indeed.
a supporter, I guess, all of these years. Thank you so much.
Hi.
Hello. Hello, good to see you. I see it's evening
Uh,
over there.
yeah, I'm in the
Looks
UK, so it's almost 2 in the morning.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Thank you so much for staying on late with us. Tori, who is one of our newest consultants. Hi, Tori. Actually, Tori, I'm going to have you. Is it cool if I bring you on camera after Shahed and Anta? Okay, great. So, Shahed, you're UK. Tori had been living in the UK for a while. She'll be going back there pretty soon. What inspired you to you were like, maybe I do a kickoff, maybe I don't. What just made you go, okay, I'll give it a shot. I'll have a conversation.
Um, so I can't even remember when I started looking for acting opportunities. So it was like going back and forth, and then with like teachers, and then not that it's not to blame anyone, but it's like I've had she said she would take me to an academy, and then she was on maternity leave, so she couldn't, and then so it's like um relying on other people. So I thought I'd just take the initiative.
Oh,
Because I've been
yes.
also like finding other opportunities, but it's quite
Yeah.
expensive, and then not knowing how it works, and
Yes. It,
being in the UK is not many. There is opportunities opening up now, but it's not as rapid as the US.
right. We've had several clients that are UK based, graduated clients as well as current clients, and so and we have coaches with expertise in the UK market as well. So what's great is our elite client base is like pretty worldwide, which is exciting. So if you're ever shooting a project, or some people can be local hire in places and stay with like an elite client. So it's like this really awesome global worldwide community. And I really like what you said about just wanting to be like more proactive. And kind of like generate opportunities on your own, not have to rely on like a particular person or always having to rely on your agent. I think that's one of the biggest mistakes a lot of actors make. Um, so yeah, like I love
Al-
my team of reps and like I don't expect them to do all the work for me. And I think that's what makes our relationship great is like we both put a lot into um, growing my career, for instance.
Also, if I could add, I was in drama school. It was already quite toxic anyway, and then a lot of
Ooh,
supportive people left, and and the teachers, but the teaching wasn't. It was you have to like rely on the teachers. It's not very independent. Plus, there's a lot of
mm,
egos conflicting.
yeah, it sounds like for you, you've been in some environments that were not as conducive for you or just weren't they weren't as much of a fit. So I'm excited to see, like, as you explore in your kickoff, to see if like this would be the right community and the right fit for you.
Also, like in the family, I'm kind of like the black sheep, like the odd one out. And then also, I kind of was like the sore thumb because I'm Muslim. and Bangladeshi as well, South Asian heritage. So when I was in the academy, I stuck out. So yeah,
And maybe you were
difficult.
never meant to like blend in. Maybe you were always meant to stand out and to shine, but in a way that people will appreciate the things that make you you and unique. So I'm excited to see what we can do on like the branding side to really like lean into like your uniqueness and really let that help you stand out and in a way
Also,
that feels good for you.
well done on playing Rainbow Runner in the Flash because I used to watch that.
Oh, yeah, I had such a fun. I've played a lot of villains over the last few years and it's been really fun. Thank you so much. I appreciate that shout out.
You're welcome.
Tori, do you want to say hi really quick? So, Tori is our wonderful client care director who is going to be adding the role of consultant. So, Tori, thank you for being on with us
Yeah.
today. Yeah, you've been in our elite program, you've been working on our team. Is there anything that I haven't shared or anything that you feel like would be helpful for folks here to hear who are like maybe still
Hmm.
like, I don't know. I don't know about this. It's a lot of money, which it is. It is a big investment and intentionally so too.
Yeah, I guess on that, one thing that I have found really inspiring is oftentimes when people are scared of investing in something like this, what ends up happening is when they decide to, the amount of effort and energy and time that they then put towards
Mm,
using it ends up giving them way more dividends than they could have ever imagined. So it's like by investing in yourself, you with like first making the financial commitment, you then also make the time commitment. So it's almost a way to, it's not, I don't want to use the word forced, but it encourages you to really prioritize your career because you're like, well, I'm already investing in this, so I better get my money's worth. And so it's the
You
best thing
follow
ever.
through
It's an
on the
incredible
things that your
decision.
coach tells you to do.
Yeah, you start following through and you start like making space in your life for it. And then it's amazing what takes off. And I think, I mean, I've seen that in a lot of our clients over the years, and in myself too. Like I know that when I know I'm going to be showing up for a coaching session, I worked with my coach. We had a regular schedule of every other Monday. We had a coaching session scheduled
Mm,
and for a year. And it was the most productive year I'd had because I knew her and I would have action steps for me to do. I would show up
yes.
and have to tell her when I didn't do them. And she had to ask me why and get on to me in the best, in the in the kindest, most encouraging way. But I loved that. And it was, so having that accountability is so worth it all. And then I can't even explain the amount of confidence that I've gained in myself as an artist and as in my career since
And as a
becoming part of it.
filmmaker and
And as a
director.
filmmaker, I mean, actually, when I started, I hadn't really, I had just started directing, sort of. And now I fully call myself a filmmaker and a director, and I'm developing two features, and things are happening.
Wow.
So, and I'm not the only one on our program that's doing that. There's a lot of, Frida, who was on earlier, she started producing her own
That's
films
true.
too,
Yes.
after she joined the program. So, we do a lot of encouragement on being a fully well-rounded artist and allowing yourself to explore that too. And we have incredible coaches that help you with that, like Farah, like mine. I love her. Um,
Yes,
yeah,
absolutely.
I think mhm, that's what I'd
Thank
say.
you.
I wasn't
Thank you
planning to be
for
on camera today. Hello, everyone. But yeah, and I saw that someone direct messaged me and just said they're wondering what will happen at a kickoff meeting. So I thought I'd just answer that really quick.
Oh, yes. Yes, please.
It's basic. So when you schedule, you'll get a link to schedule. Right now, it's just Clayton, who's incredible. And then if I can find some availability later, I might open up some spots, but you'll be in great hands with Clayton. And basically what he'll do is he'll go over this questionnaire that you'll fill out when you schedule. And it's going to ask you a lot about where you've been in your career, where you'd like to go. And going through that together, he'll be able to help determine what is the best fit for you. So you kind of will analyze like what your auditions have been looking like. You'll kind of go over
what your team of reps looks like, and then really identify where you have room to grow, and then determine, which of our tiers and programs is going to be the best fit for you, which coach is going to be the best fit for you, and in looking at all of your goals and what you're wanting to do, we'll determine all of that together. So it's really an inspiring session. It's really exciting. Like, even if you don't join the elite program, it's actually just a wonderful call to have, because Clayton is so great at seeing the big picture of what you've been doing and helping you figure out, like, what are the areas of focus, what are the goals I want to be setting. So even if you don't join, it's still a really valuable call to have. Truly, we've had people walk away from that and be like, I kind of feel like I got a lot out of that. So I encourage you to schedule, and if you don't join, we have courses that are coming out soon, like the AI course that you could put that $50 towards, so there's options.
Yes, thank you, Tori. I appreciate you saying that. And yeah, Clayton is not only one of our expert consultants, he is one of our coaches. New York based, also producing background. So he's had success as an actor, producer, writer. One of the most heartfelt, genuine human beings on the planet. And really good at like creative problem solving. So if you're like, oh, I would, but like he's very good at like helping you co-create like solutions. That it's like, if it's something you want to do, then like let's make it happen. And if anyone wants to drop a takeaway from today, so again, we learn best and remember best by reviewing. So what's a takeaway from today's roundtable? Oh, everyone's stories are inspiring, gives me hope. Yes. And to know that like it didn't start that way. Janelle was barely getting any auditions, and now she's in these big projects opposite, these really well respected, amazing actors and projects, and working with incredible filmmakers. So if she can do it, so can you. I want you to continually have that mindset. If someone has something that I want, it just means they know something that I don't know just yet. Doesn't mean that you're broken. It doesn't mean any of the other BS that we tell ourselves. That's just not true. Keith said, having a team that works forward together. Yes, teamwork makes the dream work. Shahad said, with hardship comes ease. Yes. And like, how do we make things easier, and how do we work smarter, and how do we really personalize allow someone to help us and guide us along this path? Someone who is an expert and who's like been there, done that. Brianna said, connect with people on a personal level. Yes, absolutely. Awesome. Well, thank you all so much for being here. Have a good night. I know some people in the UK, it's like 2 a.m. Thank you for being with us wherever you are in the world. And many thanks and kudos to you, Jonah, aka Rainbow Runner. I loved playing Rainbow Raider in The Flash. It was like one of the most fun roles I think I've ever gotten to play. So bye everyone. I hope we get to see some of your lovely faces and have your wonderful energies with Janelle, Larvel, April, Frida, and I inside the elite program. And if not, we hope to get to see you down the road, and that we get to be part of your journey and help you achieve some of these exciting goals that you have. Bye, everyone.